Good evening, Patriots. Welcome back to the Maryland Maverick. My name is Colin McEvers. I have some wonderful news to share with you all today. We are starting a Turning Point chapter here at Salisbury University. We've submitted the charter agreement, so now all that we need to do is wait around for it to be approved, and we have an official chapter for the Turning Point USA here at SU. So we're very, very excited about this. It's, of course, something that we've been wanting for a while. And it's something that absolutely needs to happen now that we're getting so many more members, so many more people interested in joining our movement. According to Andrew Colvett, who is the spokesperson for Turning Point USA, he said that about 37,000 inquiries from people wanting to start Turning Point chapters on college campuses, just college campuses, have come in. Some estimates say that it's about 54,000 inquiries for starting up Turning Point chapters throughout the country on college campuses, high schools, communities. It is an absolute surge, and it is so, so wonderful to see because people need to get involved. At the end of the day, a lot of people do not involve themselves in politics, especially in these off years like 2025. There's no midterm, there's no presidential election, so a lot of people will just stay out of the political realm because they don't think it matters, they don't think it's important, but it absolutely is. It is absolutely essential that we build up a base of people so that when midterms and presidential elections, local elections, state elections, things like that, when they come up, we have a whole army of people to go out and door knock, spin the narrative, and really tell people the truth of what's going on. I do want to say this. With the 37,000 inquiries of people wanting to get involved in Turning Point and start up chapters on their different college campuses, this is something that we need to keep in mind, is that if we do not capitalize on this opportunity, it's going to slip away. A lot of people will take for granted a moment like this. They'll say, "Oh my gosh, so many people are getting involved. Yay, we're going to be up, 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 and we're not going to have to do much work in order to make it possible. There's just going to be a bunch of people and it's going to work itself out. It's going to sort itself out." But that is absolutely not the case at all, and it's something that a lot of young people struggle with. I'm part of Gen Z. I'm only 20 years old. And what I will say is that there are a lot of people that are around my age who don't want to put in the work and actually put in a lot of effort to make things possible. They'll make a lot of excuses. They'll say, "Oh, I can't do this because of this reason. I'm too busy. I'm too busy dilly-dallying, twiddling my thumbs, whatever it might be. I can't get involved in politics. I can't start a movement. I can't come to this meeting or that meeting," because they don't want to make time for politics. They don't want to make time even for the most mundane of tasks, which are really, really important. So, what you'll hear a lot of people say is that members of Gen Z are lazy, that they don't put in a lot of work, they won't work overtime, they'll only work what's necessary, and the rest they'll just go back home, they'll be lazy, play on their phones, do nothing. And unfortunately, this is true in a lot of cases. A lot of people in my generation, they don't want to work. They don't want to put in effort. They don't want to actually get involved and take personal responsibility and make a difference, even if it just means working for an extra hour at their job, doing a little bit more than what their job requires of them. And that's one of the reasons why past generations tend to be more successful. Obviously, there are economic reasons, there are historical reasons, but at the end of the day, we need to take personal responsibility as young people and realize that one of the main reasons why we are failing as a generation, why we are so destitute as a generation, is because we are not working hard enough. We need to take more individual responsibility. We need to beat ourselves up when we fall down. We need to set goals. We need to set standards so that we know when we fail. Because if we know when we fail, then we know what we did wrong and we can possibly succeed the next time we try to do something. So that's what members of our generation must keep in mind is that we need to set goals. We need to say, I want to recruit 20 people by the end of the year. And if you only recruit 10 people, you failed. And that's okay. You've done a good job. You've recruited 10 people, but you may not have recruited anybody if you didn't set that goal, if you didn't push yourself to actually do a good thing for our communities. And that's really, really important for the current trend that we're seeing now with all these people throughout the country, all these people in Maryland, all these people in Salisbury that are wanting to get involved in Turning Point chapters. We could squander this moment. We could let it slip. If we do not step up our game and ensure that we are working as hard as we possibly can, If we are not tired and burnt out at the end of, say, every other day, then we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough to recruit the people we need to be recruiting. We're not doing enough to build up the base of young, energetic conservatives who we need to go out and door knock, define the narrative, and beat our enemies and our opponents. This is a cultural war that we're experiencing. We've been in a cultural war for many years because the left wants to violate and wants to supersede and do away with traditional American values. The two-family household, Christian values, Christian morals, individual responsibility, the American dream itself, being able to start a family, own a home, have property, compete with your enemies, not be pampered and given free handouts by the government. These are fundamental American values: individualism, family, tradition, community, church, having faith in God, all these things. We cannot afford to lose that cultural battle, that cultural war that we're in our society. And Charlie Kirk, he took a bullet for us. He sacrificed his life to spark political dialogue, to spark political discussion. It cost him his life. And all that I'm asking you to do now is to continue showing up to meetings, to knock doors, to work harder, to be more personally responsible. That's all we're asking. We're not asking you to sacrifice your life for the United States. We just want you to be involved. We want you to stay committed to the goal, to the purpose of building the movement and fighting for traditional American values. That is the goal and the purpose of the conservative movement as I see it currently. And in Maryland, let me tell you, there are so many things that the Democratic supermajority is doing wrong, that it has wrong. So we need to be strong. We need to fight. We need to fight peacefully. We need to channel our anger and our frustration and our grief. We need to channel it into a positive direction. And that direction will be staying involved in these turning point chapters, actually recruiting more people, getting more young people involved in the political sphere. That is what we need to do. There's no excuse for not doing it at this time and for the next several months. We need to be strong and we need to be prepared for the upcoming midterms, not only nationally, which is important, but for our state, for our local communities, for our delegates, for our county executives throughout the state. We need to win these elections for them because they are the only ones that have the ability, that have the strength and the possibility of fighting for a better future for us all. So keep that in mind. Don't forget that. Work harder. Push yourself to do more because that's exactly what I'm doing and a number of my colleagues are doing. We're pushing ourselves to work harder, put in more effort to make ourselves useful. Thank you.